Welcome to the history of true love romance at Mills and Swoon. Tonight's story takes us to the salons and drawing rooms of early 20th century London, where literature, art, and scandal often mingled freely among the cleverest minds of the age. It was here, in the unconventional world of the Bloomsbury Group, that one of the most intriguing love affairs in literary history unfolded between two remarkable women, Virginia Woolf and Vita Sackville-West. Virginia Woolf was already establishing herself as one of the most innovative writers of her generation. Brilliant, thoughtful, and deeply introspective, she was fascinated by the workings of the mind and the subtle movements of emotion. Her novels challenged the rigid storytelling traditions of the Victorian era and replaced them with something more fluid, more psychological, and more daring. Vita Sackville-West was different in almost every way. Tall, glamorous, and aristocratic, she moved through society with a confidence that Virginia found both amusing and irresistible. Vita was a writer too, though her life was also filled with travel, social engagements, and the complicated freedoms of an unconventional marriage. Both women were married when they met in the early 1920s. Virginia's husband, Leonard Woolf, was a thoughtful and supportive partner who shared her intellectual world. Vita's husband, Harold Nicholson, was a diplomat and writer who understood and accepted her romantic independence. Their marriages, unusually for the time, allowed a certain emotional freedom. When Virginia and Vita were introduced, the attraction between them grew quickly. Vita was captivated by Virginia's mind and wit, while Virginia found Vita's confidence and physical presence deeply compelling. Soon they began exchanging letters. The letters reveal a relationship filled with admiration, affection, and unmistakable flirtation. Vita often wrote with playful boldness, while Virginia responded with a mixture of humor and emotional vulnerability. At times their language was teasing and light. At others, it became intensely affectionate. Their relationship eventually became romantic, though it was never simple. Vita traveled frequently and had other relationships, while Virginia struggled with periods of mental illness that made emotional intensity difficult to sustain. Yet the connection between them remained powerful. Virginia once described Vita as possessing a kind of aristocratic magnetism, writing that she admired not only her beauty, but the self-assurance with which she moved through the world. Vita, in turn, adored Virginia's intelligence and often praised the brilliance of her writing. One of the most extraordinary results of their relationship was a novel. In 1928, Virginia Woolf published Orlando, a playful and imaginative story about a nobleman who lives for centuries and eventually transforms into a woman. The novel moves across time, identity, and gender with a lightness that was revolutionary for its time. Though whimsical on the surface, the book was in many ways a love letter to Vita. The character of Orlando was inspired directly by her, adventurous, aristocratic, and strangely timeless. Vita recognized herself immediately and was delighted by the tribute. Their romantic relationship eventually softened into deep friendship, but the affection between them never truly faded. They continued writing to one another and remained part of the same intellectual circle until Virginia's death in 1941. Today, their letters offer a fascinating glimpse into a relationship that was at once romantic, creative, and intellectually rich. It was not a conventional love story, but perhaps that is precisely what makes it enduring. Virginia Woolf and Vita Sackville-West remind us that love does not always follow the rules of its time. Sometimes it appears in unexpected places, between two writers exchanging letters, ideas, and admiration, and leaves behind something lasting, not only in memory, but in literature itself. Their story is a reminder that romance can inspire creativity as powerfully as it inspires the heart. And in this case, it produced one of the most original novels ever written, born from the meeting of two extraordinary minds.